Welcome to Riley's Gardening Adventures. Today I'm going to show you how I transplant my fall garden, as well as show you a quick garden tour update on how my container garden is doing. Now I'm sorry for the slow upload. Usually I upload once a week, but I've had some kinks that I had to work out with my plants. So you see on my tray, some of these are not performing well, and this is mainly the red leaf lettuce. I've had lots of problems trying to germinate them, and it's been weeks since I planted them in that last video, but none of them really grew that well. Right here I also have my Napa cabbage, which actually grew pretty well. Some kind of perished from the heat that we had, but I think some of them are recovering back from it, so I think that'll be okay. Kimchi cabbage is a total success. They all grew well, no problems there. Leaf mustard, 4 out of 5 did well. And for the kale, they seem to be on the slow side. I'm not sure why they're not growing that fast compared to the others, but we'll see about that. What I'm going to be fertilizing my garden bed is Expert Gardener from Walmart. Nothing fancy, but it will do the job. It's a 12-10-5 mix, so it's higher in nitrogen, which is pretty good for these type of plants because they are leafy greens. So I'm gonna go transplant these, and then I will show you the garden tour. Right, so here we are at the garden bed. I've already fertilized the garden bed with the Expert Gardener granular fertilizer, and I've already also digged the holes of the places where I'm gonna plant. Now I made the foolhardy decision to mulch with wood chips rather than straw, so this soil isn't as optimal as I would like it. I tried to mulch it with wood in last summer to make sure I don't have to water that much, and it did do well with the tomatoes, but when growing more delicate plants like leafy greens, it's kind of a pain to get all these wood chips out of the way. It's not really good to have wood chips next to your plants, but nevertheless I think they're still gonna do fine. But yeah, so I'm gonna show you the cool thing about my seed starting tray. You see how on the bottom there's these like blue pods, and what you do is you put your 2 fingers and you do this, you just push up. Out comes a perfectly good pot to transplant into the soil. What you need to do with this perfectly made pod is just plant it in the soil. After you get into soil, you want to give it an immediate soak of water. And basically I'm just going to repeat this with every other plant in the seed starting tray. Right, so I finished transplanting. I got 4 Napa cabbages here, 6 kimchi cabbages, some red leaf lettuce, and 5 mustard greens. Alright, so now that I showed you how to transplant, I want to show you a quick update on my container garden. So right here, my purple top white clove turnips are doing quite fine. And then right here is one of my big Napa cabbages. They're huge. These things have really picked up since the last time I showed you. And I'm very excited that I have 5 Napa cabbages growing up here and 4 in the garden bed, so a total of 9 Napa cabbages. For here is my radishes, and I got 2 kinds. I planted these at the same time. However, Crimson Giant seems to be performing quite better. And like, look at the comparison. It's drastically big difference. Cherry Giant, they look okay, like this one, but they're really far behind in development. I don't know why. I'm beginning to believe that Crimson Giant is just a better variety. I think I'm going to be harvesting these soon. Hopefully they catch up in time so I can do a taste test comparison of these 2 radishes. Over here is my leek American flag. They're pretty slow to grow, but they do look like grass blades when they are sprouting. I have, I think, 12 in this container, so they take 75 to 80 days. It'll take a while before I do a taste test on those. Here is another Napa cabbage. My whole row of Napa cabbages. You may notice that some of them have bite marks. Early on, I've had pest pressure from black armyworms, so I pulled them out the soil and I killed them individually by my hands, and ever since they have been not that bad anymore. And the last one that I planted for the fall garden is my colabres. They're going well, and I'm hoping to get a good harvest out of these too. Out of the way, I want you to take a good look at these plants right here. and tell me how different they look from these pictures. Okay, you see that? And the reason why is because I've been using Miracle Grow Bloom Booster. So Bloom Booster is a liquid fertilizer that goes by the NPK ratio of 15-30-15. And now, before you persecute me and say, oh man, he uses Miracle Grow, I've actually got this idea from the Millennial Gardener and Lucas Grows Best. They use Miracle Grow for, I believe, a lemon plant and tomatoes. And I decided, hey, my plants look kind of sad and it's late in the season and I don't want to just pull them out of the soil, so I decided to use some Miracle Grow Bloom Booster. So I'm just going to show you a big 3-week difference from each plant. I put them on every tomato plant that I didn't pull out the soil, and they just have dark green, luscious growth of flowers too, and new tomatoes. My mortgage lifter doing quite well. This has 17 tomatoes growing on it right now. That's insane. And I have one ripening over here. When it comes to my better boys, this one has so many tomatoes. It has a steel cage, 2 bamboo stakes, and it's just collapsing over the weight. I decided to just see how far it can grow, and there's tons of tomatoes growing on it. They don't look like Better Boy tomatoes anymore. They look like plums. So I don't know why it's like that, but hey, it still tastes the same. My other Better Boy here, doing well. Have some tomatoes too. Cherry Punch, just super revived. Lots and lots of cherry tomatoes going on it. It looks like it's brand new, start of the season. And now it doesn't even have herbicide drift anymore. So that's great. And last are my 3 pepper plants from the pepper video. Now, if you notice in that video, all the leaves were light green and not a lot of flowers. And ever since I added the Bloom Booster right here, it's just crazy. The leaves turn green automatically and the flowers are just like popping up everywhere. Production has just skyrocketed since. Now, I'm not sponsored by any of the companies that I mentioned today, but I will say that I've been using both slow release granular fertilizer and liquid fertilizer, and ever since I tried out liquid fertilizer, I will be using Bloom Booster much more next summer and for fall. So this concludes the garden tour and transplanting video. Stay tuned for more adventures on Riley's Gardening Adventures.